Hey, it's your dad here, and I went camping last weekend at Disney World. I wanted to see if A, the Wilderness Lodge stands up as a campground, and B, is Fort Wilderness Campground a good place to stay when I go to Disney World? I'm going to highlight all the activities you can do at the resort. I also want to see if it's a good value versus staying at a hotel at Disney World. Well, let's take a look, starting with the good stuff. First off, it does feel like a national park campground. There are tent and camper spots. There are also RV only areas. And if you didn't bring someplace to sleep, well, they've got some small cabins as well. In fact, this seems to be an area where they are expanding this resort. In addition to the existing cabins, there was a lot of construction on new cabins as well. Right away, one of the fun things about staying at this resort is you get to decorate your site. This alone is going to be great fun for the kids. And the first thing you need to know about staying at the Fort Wilderness Campground is that it is pet friendly. Of course, there are some rules. They need to be on a leash or confined to a climate-controlled personal recreation vehicle, their words. There is an off-leash dog park, wagon trails, and when you decide you want to spend some time in the parks, day and overnight kennel care is available. The cost for including your dog at the campsite is $5 per night, so really not that bad. For those of you who love alternative transportation to the parks rather than the bus, there's boat service. I did wait about 20 minutes for the boat, which is about the same as what I would wait for a bus. But it turns out there's another catch as well. There are two boat lines that leave from the Fort Wilderness dock. The green line, which takes you to the Magic Kingdom, and the blue line, which takes you to the other resorts around Bay Lake. This was Saturday around 1 o'clock, and I was told that the green line that takes you to the Magic Kingdom doesn't start running till later. So the boat I was on, which was the blue line, stopped at the Contemporary Resort, which is where I got off and walked the rest of the way to the Magic Kingdom, which isn't a far walk, but it's still more than I wanted to do. And can anyone tell me why there's shoes on this tree out in the water? Let me know in the comments. Let's talk activities at the Fort Wilderness Campground. You can rent bikes and ride all over the resort, which is fairly substantial. You can explore the waterways in a canoe. Or if you don't want to pedal or paddle, there's a 2-hour guided Segway tour around the resort. The Segway tour is a little expensive for me. It's about $100 per person. For an even more traditional outdoor experience, you can go horseback riding, or even learn to shoot a bow and arrow. There are tennis courts, volleyball courts. You can rent boats and go fishing on the Seven Seas Lagoon. Or there are guided fishing tours, and just in case you forgot to bring your rod and reel, they provide it. And then to cool off, you got a pool with a water slide. Honestly, there is enough to keep you occupied without ever going to a theme park just in this resort alone. In the evening, there's still stuff to do. At 4 p.m. and 8:30 p.m., there's the Hoop-Dee-Doo Review. For $35 for kids and $60 for adults, you get a live show and dinner. Over at the Outdoor Amphitheater, where they have movies under the stars every night, a different movie every night of the week, they also have the Campfire Sing-Along with Chip and Dale. I could hear this before I even got close, and they were having a lot of fun singing along. Plus, you can bring your own marshmallows and roast them. Or if you forgot to bring them, you can either buy some marshmallows at the general store, or they have s'mores kits you can purchase right at the campfire. So I've talked about a lot of positive things, and there is a lot of positive stuff here. But here's the real drawbacks for me. The first being the bus system within the resort. You're not allowed to park your car anywhere inside the resort except for your campsite. So say you wanted to get from your campsite in the 2000 block of the campground all the way over to Trails End Restaurant on the other side. Or let's say you want to go to one of the theme parks. You have to take a bus from inside the resort to the entrance so that you can get on another bus that will take you to the park. I found that I had to wait up to 30 minutes for one of these buses. And if I was going to a theme park, I might have to wait another 20 minutes for that bus. Of course, you can rent a golf cart for $65 a day, but if you're planning to spend most of your time in the parks anyway, that's a $65 investment that's just sitting in your campsite. I found for me, the best option was just to walk to my destination. I found that I could get to anywhere on the property from my campsite in about 20 minutes walking. But I understand this isn't an option if you have small children with you. The other issue is the heat in Florida. This of course doesn't affect you if you have an RV or a cabin, which is probably the reason why they're expanding the number of cabins. There are electrical outlets at the site, so you could have fans in your tent, but that's not going to compare to the air conditioning in the resort hotels. Alright, so here's my final verdict. As a campground, Yeah, there's a lot to do, and the activities aren't that expensive compared to other things you can do at Disney. At $125 a night, it's just not a good enough value versus a state park or a national park. Considering at most national parks you can tent camp for around $40 to $50 a night, and that's the expensive ones, it's just not worth it, especially when you consider the sights you can see at national parks. And if you're staying at a state park, we're talking $20 to $30 a night, a much better camping experience and far fewer crowds. So how is it as a Disney resort? First up, you got to consider it's going to take you at least an hour to get to the parks. It's going to take 20 to 30 minutes just to get from your campsite to the front of the resort. Then it's going to take another 20 to 30 minutes just to get to the park. Even if you're staying at the far reaches of one of the value resorts, you're still going to get to the parks faster. Issue number 2 is being in Florida, you're limited to the times of year that it's going to be pleasant to camp. You're basically looking from late fall to very early spring. Even with the nice temperatures I had over the weekend, the second night that humidity hit, and it was very, very unpleasant. So on my future visits to Disney World, I don't think I'm going to be returning to the campground. But let me know what you think. Have you stayed at the Fort Wilderness Campground? Did you have fun? Was it hot, muggy? Was the in-resort transportation all right? And if you got this far, thanks for watching, and please subscribe. And maybe like the video too. I like the video.